Hello, YouTube community. Lester Crow and Strolling Bones here. I'm doing a video response today to Rabbit95823. His name is Mark. I recently discovered his videos and was really interested in one of the questions that he raised in a recent video. And the question is essentially geared at finding out not necessarily habits of gamers, but what days they prefer to play on, what days they manage to play on, and how long they prefer to play when actually gaming. So I thought this was a brilliant question. Get an idea on how people do time management, I guess, because most people out there usually are a slave to the workaday world. You know, they've got children. A lot of us gamers. Surprisingly so, not very many people would think of this. They believe that RPGs are more childish in nature, but a lot of the people, in fact, I'd say the majority of the people playing the overall hobby, not specific games in general, but playing role-playing games, I'd say the majority are at 25 years and older. It's just, we're almost of the correct age, a lot of us older people, where we had the experience of not having access to video games and to the degree that we have now. So we have to use our imaginations a little bit more. Not to say that the imaginations of the younger generation are stymied in any way. There are a lot of extremely intelligent, creative, and innovative and imaginative younger people out there. Don't get me wrong. The future of the hobby definitely looks bright, but the majority of us are older. Therefore, we have a harder time scheduling or making time for games, as it were. And so I'm gonna just kind of touch on this briefly. This is a big issue with me. I've always had a hard time with the constraints of time, I guess, when it comes to my hobbies. I like to play guitar a lot and write songs, and that can be extremely time consuming. If you want to keep up with your skills, it's not quite like riding a bicycle. To a degree it is, but at the same time, if you don't keep up your chops, then you're gonna find that your skill begins to atrophy over time. And I've noticed this with my role playing. I took kind of a break, and it was more of not a self-imposed break. It was just kind of circumstance did not allow for me to play as often as I would like. In fact, it didn't afford for me to play at all for about a year there. And that was kind of frustrating me. And it always has frustrated me that I haven't been able to find people. People haven't been willing to put the time in, because it's a hobby. You need to invest your time. Same goes with playing music, same goes for RPGs, same goes for any hobby. If you're a swimmer, you spend your time swimming. I find that the best times, the times that people prefer to play, is usually later in the evening. I have tried to run afternoon games, but I find people get a little bit distracted, and it lends more for burnout nearing the evening. So what I prefer to do is I prefer to start probably just around dinner time. And my current gaming group plays on Sundays. We're trying for every Sunday, but we more than likely will only get to play every other Sunday due to specific conflicting work schedules and things along those lines. But we are playing Sundays, and I like a Sunday. I prefer a Saturday, but I know that a lot of gamers like to go out and do things on Saturdays apart from gaming. So Sundays is good. And our current gaming group, none of them usually open on a Monday. One of the fellows he works nights, and the other two, my girlfriend and a guy she works with. Like I said, they both work together, so that makes it a little difficult. But Sunday seems to work best. We usually start not until around 10:30, and we go till about 3 in the morning. Now, some people would think that this is crazy, but we're all night owls, so this works really good, and people don't tend to get as much of a burnout. Unless, of course, we're imbibing magical substances for the game, Some people like snacks. My crew happens to like coral, so near the end of the game, they'll start to get a little bit of burnout, a little bit of wear and tear. However, they're all interested in the game, so they engage themselves until fatigue becomes an issue. But that's going to happen regardless of how you play. So currently, we're playing about 3 to 4, sometimes maybe 5 hours a night. This has only happened a couple times. We've only played a couple times as of right now. Hopefully, we can continue on going. I also like to play a game in the weekdays. I like to play as much as possible. I always work in time to play guitar and stuff like that. But I'm always up for a game. The problem is I'm usually the game master, and that makes it difficult. I've just moved over to a new game system, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, the 3rd edition, which you seem to find some sort of humor in, which is good. But I've just barely moved over that, so I'm still kind of getting my grasp of the system. I know the world very well, so getting the players into that is a little bit easier, but still learning the system, still teaching people the system, so I tend to be the GM all the time, and I don't have all the material that I'd like pre-prepared for immersion's sake. The reason I like to pre-prepare stuff, I made a video about preparation, and Samwise7, Tim, he made a comment there about how he found it funny that I prepared so much, and that he warned me about getting GM burnout. But little does he know that I adore that. It's more so writer's block than it is burnout. I don't ever get tired or sick of doing any of these, like doing any work on RPGs. It's a writer's block thing. It's getting to a point where I can no longer come up with any fresh ideas, because I really like to create an immersive environment for my players. So, and that way the time spent is spent more constructively and more succinctly. I don't necessarily believe that's the correct word, but I really liked your video there, Mark. Playing is really hard. Playing something I really enjoy, be that being the narrator or being players, both ways I enjoy it. I would play more often if I had more interested people around, especially if I had more game masters around, so that I also had the opportunity to play. But that's not the case right now. So I guess basically what I like to say is I prefer to play on days where people don't work the next day, so you can play as long as possible. I too like to have marathon sessions. Warhammer, not to say that every other game doesn't have this built in, but actually built into the design of the game and the game mechanics of the 3rd edition of Warhammer is, the fantasy roleplay, not the battles game. But anyway, that should go without saying. It's built in to have these events, these time periods called rally steps, which encourages people to step out metagame, discuss what they want to do as players, maybe go to the bathroom, grab a drink. And these are built fluidly into the game. It was really intuitive of them, because that is something that is important to break from the action. That allows you to get guys into it a little bit more. Although some people have a hard time with that. They like to marathon. And I do too, but at the same time, not everybody is like us more hardcore gamers. So thanks a lot, Mark, for that question. I hope this is kind of what you were looking for. A little bit of a ramble there, but I've been known to do that. I'm drinking a little bit of coffee, so that leads to a little bit more loose gummery. It's nice. I look forward to more of your videos, Mark. Yeah, let's keep it up. Keep gaming, guys. Great question. Peace.